We used to pull the aneurysms out of the brain. It was like Jello jigglers. Remember those?
I remember them a little bit. Yeah.
It was just jelly in the.
Why were you pulling the aneurysm out of the brain?
I'm watching it happen.
Yeah, stop it! I knew you were trying to be self-aggrandizing. I pulled the aneurysm out of the brain because I was the morgue photographer. So
I've cut people open. They let me use a bolt cutter to cut the rib cage.
Why?
Because I felt like it. It felt great.
Is that true?
What?
You cut bodies open when you weren't supposed. You were the photographer at the morgue.
They let
You weren't
me.
supposed to be touching anybody.
I was helping.
What do you mean you were helping?
They were busy. And they were showing me how to do it.
Why were they showing a photographer how to cut people?
Because I was always helping move bodies.
This is wrong. You know it's wrong.
I was cleaning.
You're laughing. You're not supposed to be cutting open, but why did you even want to cut open the bodies?
Because of what? You want to be afraid to cut open the body? I was there. Why not help out?
What do you mean help out? It's not your job. You're not supposed to cut open a human being. You're just playing around with a dead body.
No, I was doing it according to the plan.
This is not Operation the board game.
No,
you can't just... What do you mean? You're doing it according to plan? What kind of sick thing is that? Were you really cutting up open body? You were supposed to be the photographer.
Yeah, but one time they let me fucking...
Did you pull an aneurysm out of a brain?
Not personally.
What did you cut open?
Just the guy.
What about him?
Oh, you make the incision with the scalpel. You make the Y incision.
Where?
On the chest.
Why?
Because then you have to get to that part. You got to rip the skin open, and then get to the rib cage. You take bolt cutters. You know, big bolt cutters that you use to cut a bolt.
Yeah, I know.
And you use it to cut along the rib cage open, like a big V.
Why is the morgue photographer using bolt cutters to cut the rib cage of somebody? Why is someone's dead body being experimented on by the morgue photographer?
Well, the morgue assistants, I mean, they don't even need a high school degree. They need a 6th degree education.
But your job is to be the photographer.
Yeah, but sometimes I don't know what to do.
So you had nothing to do? So they allowed you to cut open the bodies?
They were teaching me.
What do you mean you were a teacher? It wasn't your job.
What's the difference?
What do you mean the difference is that you shouldn't be learning on people, shouldn't they?
That's what everyone does.
Nobody learns on dummies or anything?
No, not for this.
So everybody just gives... So the real...
The real assistant who would do it anyway, if not me, yeah.
The status quo is to just hand somebody bolt cutters and go, good luck.
Well, you watch someone the way I watch someone.
All right, well.
I did nothing wrong.
I don't believe that. But here's the whole thing. My point about the fucking election was this. You live with the uncertainty of things like aneurysms, of brain hemorrhages, of tumors, of cancer, of getting shot in the face, of cars crashing, of whatever. Of being gay. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe you wake up and you go, I'm a girl, I'm not a boy. All of these things can happen at any time. I mean, I don't know. But here's the point. The point is this, that we live in this world where people like idolize, like they think they're ideologues and they go out and they're banging down the doors to change society. And some things will change. But there are some things that are never going to. So the money system and the Fed, and the way that we operate, and the dollar, and the fiat currency, and the way the economy is run.
Well, you don't know. I mean, look.
What's going to change?
In 2008, you look, history is full of impasses where you would think, how did they make this crazy decision? And they did. Now, in 2008, they happened to pass that bailout thing, which was a fraud anyway.
Right.
But it was possible that they just had, an obstinate people in Congress and just, the perfect storm of idiocy, and that whole fucking thing just seizes up. Yeah. And who knows what would happen. We came very close to collapse back,
No, it was very bad. There's a massive drawdown on the
70s.
mutual funds. I mean, I remember that. And I remember sitting in the Long Island mortgage office and watching all of this happen. It was a real
This economy
nightmare.
is based on nothing.
It is based on nothing.
It's
a succession of scams.
The biggest thing I've ever figured out. I spent a long time trying to, get to the bottom of this in my, mom's basement. But the closest I could get to it is that we're backed by the U.S. military.
Right.
The idea is that our military is so powerful and we exert it all over the world.
That's it.
That's what we're backing.
That's what backs the dollar.
Yeah.
The gun.
Yep.
The dollar is backed by the gun.
The sad.
You shouldn't have been cutting people open. You know that. You know that.
It wasn't.
In your eyes, I can see that you know that it was wrong. Let me ask you a question, and this is honest.
Yeah.
Did you ask to do it, or did...
I was being supervised.
Did you... I know that, but did you say, hey, I'll cut that guy open?
Why? Yeah. But
you said so. You offered.
Yeah.
You said, "Let me do it."
Well, he'd already let me like milk the colon. So that was already. You ever milk a colon?
Please watch Chris Gethard's special on election night. Ray will be co-hosting.
You grab the lower intestine and you ever like use that.
But there's something very wrong with you that you like to play with dead bodies. Now,
Not
would you?
Playing with
Let me ask you a question.
There.
Let me ask you a question. Now, this is honest. This is between me and you.
Right.
Would you ever have sex with a dead body?
No.
Let me rephrase.
Okay.
It comes in. It's hot and warm, like a hot and fresh biscuit. It's laying there. Listen to me. Let me describe the circumstances. Let me describe it. Can you get a camera on his face? Let me describe the circumstances. It is a beautiful 23-year-old model.
What color's the hair?
It's brunette. She's a brunette, and she was poisoned. There's no lacerations.
That's why she's here, to figure that out.
Correct. But what we do know is there's no signs of trauma. She's a perfectly beautiful,
opioid
warm,
addiction, that's what I would guess.
Opioid addiction, possibly. In your fantasy, yes. You're alone. It's a long night in the morgue.
I've been alone with perfectly attractive dead women before.
Here we go.
I never had an inkling to stick anything in them.
You never thought about having sex with a dead woman?
No.
Never?
No.
Finger one?
No.
Touch a boob?
I had to touch parts of their body. No.
Why did you're taking the photos? Again.
I had to flip them over.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Now, so you've never thought about...
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you. You get there and you think, I used to think, I wonder what it'd be like, Nah, we never do anything, but, who knows?
So you just admitted.
No,
you just admitted that you thought about what it would be like to fuck a cadaver.
No.
Yes, you did.
No.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
You
just said, I quote, I always used to think, I wonder what it would be like to fuck a cadaver. Yes.
You wonder if it's like,
Did you ever jerk off to a cadaver?
No. No, I'm telling you, you
Okay.
get there with this otherwise would-be attractive woman who's just dead, and you feel nothing.
I would look at every guy's dick in the morgue.
I look at plenty of dicks.
I would look at the dick. I wouldn't do anything, but I would look at the dick and just try to get an idea what people's dicks were like.
Oh, I have an idea. People always like, the black guys have big cocks.
They do.
I'm telling you right now, I've seen them all dead. They have bigger dicks.
Jesus Christ. Please, let's not isolate that and tweet it out, please. So, I mean, it's just fascinating that your two interests are Austrian economics and fucking cadavers.
First of all, it was my job. It wasn't an interest.
Cutting was not your job. Touching and cutting was you. You volunteered to do that.
All right, you're there anyway. You're helping out.
That's such a weird thing to say. You're there anyway. It's
my job had a lot of downtime. That's the problem. I'd be there.
And you figured in that downtime, instead of reading, you would start.
Because what am I going to be? I'm the fat guy sitting around not helping the other people while they're dealing with bodies? I was trying to be helpful.
Well,
I was trying not to be. I don't want to be some effete, like upper class, dandy who doesn't want to get my hands dirty.
The definition of effete upper class dandy in Ray's world is somebody who doesn't want to take bolt cutters and cut up someone's rib cage because they're bored, because they have downtime. That's an effete dandy in his world. Some faggot who doesn't want to milk a colon. You don't want to see how the sausage is made. You're some dandy faggot. You're going to sit along. You know they didn't want him doing this. They were like, what is he doing? Let me do it. Let me do it. It's like a little kid watching his father do something. No, Dad, let me.
I mean, the job is hands on.
We got in a fight last night about. You want to know how sad our lives are? We got in a fight last night about who had shittier jobs. That's how bad. That's how sad our lives are. Is that we got in a fight about who had shittier jobs? And I was comparing being a tour guide to his delivering bread.
Well, I was working in the warehouse. Yeah,
he was working in the potato bread warehouse.
Yeah, and you said, that's not labor.
Listen,
it's not heavy because you have this childlike brain who thinks that because a loaf of bread is not inherently heavy.
First of all, I'm not saying that it wasn't anything, but the idea that you made it sound like you're fucking doing the hardest job in the world and you're delivering fucking potato rolls. You're a fucking potato roll delivery man.
What do you think? Like, first of all, I never said it was the hardest job in the world.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like it's crazy, horrible labor.
You're pushing.
Like you're a fucking Russian gymnast who stunts her growth at fucking 14. You're delivering potato rolls.
How do you make that comparison? I mean, those women are...
How do you get a job at a potato bread warehouse?
You show up at the warehouse. And you agree to work the midnight to 8 shift.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Did you ever fuck a potato bun? Did you ever? What is a Martin? But this is what I mean. Listen, with the election, who's going to fix our lives? This is what I mean. Like, who's going to fix our lives? Like, I walked in to my doctor. There was this girl, Emily, I used to do drugs with every day. She was sitting there. Her eyes were bulged out of her skull. When I knew her, she was 300 pounds. Now she's 115 pounds. She's like a skeleton, and she's sitting there, and her daughter sitting there next to her, and her daughter looks afraid, and Emily's like, "Hey, Tim, how are you?" And I'm like, "Hey, Emily." She's like, "I just got out of Seafield," which is a rehab, because she goes, "I had a problem." And then she goes like this. She goes, "Like everybody else." Just fucking, you know what I mean? Exempts herself.
You're not better than me.
Yeah. She goes, "Like everybody else." And you could tell her daughter was like just scared. And Emily goes, "Nobody goes out in this town." I said, "Emily, we had so much fun. And nobody goes out in this town anymore." She goes, "These kids, they're fucking pussies." And they're giving her like Suboxone so she could take it before she starts before like the 28 days later virus comes back and she starts just fucking shoving fucking OxyContin in every orifice of her body. And I'm like, so much of life really is your decisions.
Yeah.
Because I got out of that, and so many of the people that I was running with didn't. They didn't get out of it.
You happen to find
the thing that I wanted to do.
Well, I was going to say the one drug that doesn't kill you right away, which is comedy.
It was very poetic. That's why Ray's here, for these poetic moments.